Welcome to the Bass to Bass podcast with Jacob Guerrero.
Chris, can you turn up the volume on the playback thing or two so I can hear our boy more? Also did the drums last night. I came over to the studio, changed head. Also,
can I hear you?
Hey, can you give me a check? Oh, I can hear you.
Hello, mic check.
Sounds good. How do we sound? Human?
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah.
Or are we denser?
Hold on, I'm denser. I need to put you over here. Hello? It's
Hello.
like there it is. I can hear him in my right ear and you in my left ear now.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
All right, we are running a really sophisticated setup of the only splitter I have is mono, so it only comes in one ear.
Oh, perfect.
But this is technically NOFX's streaming rig.
This is NOFX's streaming rig, so it would only make sense that we only have half of what we need.
Oh my God. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you. I thank both of you for joining. I'm super stoked.
Hell yeah.
Sorry for crashing.
Yeah, no, I was like, Chris, come to this. I need videos.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm super stoked. So my name's Jacob, aka Ska Dad, and thank you for being a part of Bass to Bass. Just a little intro. I know Jon Graves. I'm not too familiar with you, Chris. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What's your story? What's up?
Oh, me.
Yeah.
I'm the video guy for all the ska stuff, but I also play in bands. I play bass. I have a little ska project called Loser, where I do video game ska music. And Jon Graves mixes it.
Truth.
And yeah.
And Reed Wolcott produces.
Reed Wolcott works on production. So does Ryland from Real Big Fish.
He's in America now.
He's in America now. That's true. But I was trying to keep it ska for the ska.
He left Real Big Fish to be in America.
Money's pretty good.
No, listen. If America the band was like, hey, do you want to play these songs or Real Big Fish songs? Like Real Big Fish songs are way harder.
So much harder.
Yeah. That motherfucker just plays 2 and 4 and stays the fuck out of the way for hours.
Fly out vacations. It's amazing.
Yeah. All the drinks are included.
Yeah. It's that's the way to be.
That's a gig right there.
I want to drink with my dad's idols. That sounds fun.
Alrighty, y'all. Well, so the first question I normally ask everyone is, when did you know music was going to be a part of your life? Let's go and start with you, Jon.
Cool. So when I was very young, I had a pretty musical family. My mom is a singer, as well as she's a teacher, but she was a singer in the 60s and 70s. And she played guitar. I was really young. I wanted to play guitar. My neighbor Mark played guitar and I thought it was cool. And then so I started, actually guitar was my first instrument. I started playing that when I was 4. And then, but what got me hooked into what I do now is when I was 5, I heard Dookie. And that was yeah, that's good. I want to do that. I never, I was young, I was 5, but I'd still it felt like it was shockingly relatable for a 5-year-old, even though there was a song about jerking off that I definitely sang in front of my grandma. Longview, definitely sang that in front of my grandma. Big old bee on masturbation. The masturbation's lost its fun. What's up, grandma? And then I grew up in New York and with in a really particularly active music scene. From my high school alone was Latterman, who's a huge punk band from my high school. Glassjaw, brand new, Taking Back Sunday. All those bands are from my high school. Yeah. And then on top of that, I was playing in ska punk bands, and really super nurtured by Jeff and John from Jeff Rosenstock band, Bomb the Music Industry. I think we probably played at least 100 shows with Bomb the Music Industry over the years. Never played with Jeff's solo project. Not famous enough for that shit. No shit talk. Those guys are fucking. John, the bass player from Jeff Rosenstock's band, John Dominici, he actually gave me my first job in production. I was a production manager at a club called the Downtown that was on Long Island that hosted every one of the bands that we grew up loving, all the West Coast bands Real Big Fish and Suburban Legends played there, but then also Catch 22 did their live record from there. we all the ASOB shows and Bob Music Industry shows that happened like in that time were all. I mean, JT from ASOB was the booker for that club. John Dominici was the stage manager. Jeff drank Coronas with Vinicardi from fucking Brand New.
Very important job at any venue.
That's literally what they did. They just
Corona drinker.
They just drank Corona. With,
you see it on every breakdown when you're doing budgets for booking a place.
It was definitely so, and it's crazy because I hear, you know, I talk to Chris a lot about like how we grew up in music and like the West Coast experience of like DIY versus like the East Coast, and how much more like Chris told me like one of his favorite shows ever. He saw the Fad play in a fucking garage, and like they kicked out a light and it was, you know, it was pandemonium. And I was like, man, I saw the Fad play in I played with the Fad in a basement. Like that was like my entire life growing up. So I was nurtured to do that. And like, because of that, because like I had incredible role models who were just like, I mean, Jeff Rosenstock's such an incredible songwriter. Yeah. You know, John Dominici, such an incredible bass player. You know, Latterman is such a great band. All those guys, like, that's how I knew I wanted to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so badass.
Yeah. And Chris, like you were like homies with everyone back in the day and just going to shows and being out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from Torrance, so I mean, I grew up with the dudes in Joyce Manor. Those were my high school friends before they were doing that. And
band fucking rules.
Yeah.
Band's so good.
And you know, I mean, I'm kind of here on accident, to be honest. I was trying to make movies and stuff. That was kind of my focus. But the difficult thing that I ran into is that if you want to make movies or videos really of any kind, there's some sort of budgetary hurdle that you have to get over, or else you're not doing the thing that you want to do. But if you're in a band, like, you know, whether you're playing to an empty bar on Mother's Day or like, you know, 100,000 people in a stadium, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, but I still think there's still like a budget barrier of entry. I mean,
there is,
affording a van, being able to like support yourself on tour.
Even that, if you just play locally, I mean, literally, if you just play the neighborhood bar, if you have a guitar, like the hurdle is much, much lower. And so that was kind of how I fell into it. Is that I was doing film stuff and I, you know, I wasn't able to like take next steps. And so I just started playing in bands. I started playing bass because, you know,
your bass is my favorite.
I do. I have an awesome bass.
I cannot wait till we talk gear.
Yeah.
Chris's bass is the fucking best.
But yeah. And so I was like playing in little local bands, you know, just with my friends and hanging out. And then it started for me with Suburban Legends. They were looking for a new trumpet player. So I sent in an audition video and I got the shit kicked out of me by Chris Luca, who plays trumpet for them now. That guy is like,
I would love to see your audition video.
It's like
yo, Vince, send that to me now.
Yeah. It's not great, but it was fine. But anyway, regardless,
wait, hold on, were you dancing?
Oh, I didn't know the moves. No, they asked for like weird stuff, and so like I don't remember what
Suburban
it was.
Legends asked for weird shit. I'm shocked.
Not surprising. But yeah, so regardless, like I sent that in.
Include a dick pic, please. Bleep that.
No, he did not. Want to make clear that he did not. But no, Chris Luca is like I can play a trumpet, and Chris Luca is like a master of trumpet. So like he beat the shit out of me. But they were like, "Hey, like your video was really good though," because I don't know, I make videos, so I made it kind of fun and stupid, and so then they had me start making music videos, and then kind of slowly everyone had me start making music videos, and then I started like, you know, the bands I was playing with, like, or bands I was making videos for, started having me play with them, started going on tour with a bunch of ska band stuff. I did get the sub for Suburban Legends and on a few shows here and there whenever he.
You also like rip shows in the Maxis, like
I was in the Maxis,
down talking your fucking bands, like
in the Maxis.
This is a podcast. You're allowed to
to
make a statement on why you're here.
I did that for a while. I was playing keys for them. I played bass for an indie rock band called the 131ers for a few years. I'm
sorry, excuse me.
No, yeah.
Say the name again.
The 131ers. Yes. Oh, so weird. It triggers a weird feeling.
Was there any like movies or shows that influenced you to want to like even start making videos?
I'm a huge Terry Gilliam fan.
Oh yeah.
animator from Monty Python.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Time Bandits, Brazil, 12 Monkeys.
My dad just got excited, by the way. My dad fucking like loves that shit.
Yeah.
Same.
I remember like my concept of like what is funny, like comedy is so shaped by like Monty Python.
Absolutely.
Like my dad I remember I was like 4 and I just did not understand any of these jokes. My dad was like, no, like Life of Brian is funny. This is what funny is.
It's my number 2.
It's so good.
Number 2 favorite movie of all time. No,
Life of Brian?
3. Number 3. It's number 3.
What's number 1?
Number 1 is Brazil. Number 2 is Some Like It Hot.
Yeah, you really like that movie. I don't understand.
Yeah, Some Like It Hot is fantastic.
It's really not though.
I mean, it's probably I just remember liking it.
Have you
I haven't watched it recently.
Have you watched like Pulp Fiction? Like that movie.
The movie slaps. It's very good.
Smokes that.
Sure doesn't.
Are you kidding me? Circular Story doesn't matter. Like the actual order of that movie doesn't matter.
I watched Some Like It Hot with Glenn Campbell one time, and about every 25 minutes he just said, "Oh, that Marilyn was a real big lady."
That story is insane. So Chris used to like what was your connection to like the Campbells?
Oh, I hung out with Ashley. She was in a couple of my like public access TV shows back in the day.
That's ridiculous. I want to hang out with Glenn Campbell, one of the best fucking songwriters of all time. Be like, hey, what was it like hanging out with the Beach Boys and being in the Wrecking Crew and literally like writing every song of the 60s? What was that like? I'd be like, I don't remember. I smoked a lot of weed.
That's why I never asked him any of those questions.
Jeez.
Reed like was studio mates with his son.
Yeah, Cal, right?
Cal Campbell, yeah.
Cal's super awesome.
He apparently dressed like he was in a Wes Anderson movie every day of
all
his life.
of the time. Yeah. He's
Which like imagine having Glenn Campbell money and not doing that. Like I would only expect that from him. Like shoes that make your feet look like elf feet.
Yeah. Cal, Shannon too. They both have like an interesting style.
Man, I would love a stylist. I wear this. This is literally one of the 5 shirts I own.
I've seen you wear that maybe the last.
This is the exact. This is my NoFX streaming outfit because I'm wearing like a button down, so people like can see that like my body has like a shape.
Seriously, yeah.
Not just like a circle with a lot of other circles attached to it.
Everything I own is a Zelda shirt.
That's facts.
Don't know how we got there, but
my buddy got the Triforce tattooed on his leg. He's my best friend, JP. And his mom like didn't know what it was, and I was like super faded out of sight of his house once, and we were talking shit about like he called me a nerd about music, and I was like, man, at least I have a fucking Triforce tattoo on my leg. And she was like, what? Wait, the Zelda thing? That's what that thing is on your fucking leg? And I was like, he was like, thanks, John. And I was like,
that rules.
Sorry, our light just went away.
I got it.
There it is. Holy shit, that was incredible timing.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry that we're just like talking shit on your podcast.
I love it. It's amazing. My saxophone player has a Zelda tattoo too, Triforce on his chest. So sometimes we give him shit about it, but we named our Rocket League team Zelda Tattoos.
Can I join your Rocket League team?
Yeah.
Forewarning, I'm terrible at Rocket League, but I was playing it this morning.
Hey, me too.
What is a Rocket League?
It's 3 versus 3 soccer, except you're a car. Yeah, it fucking rules.
This sounds great.
It's so great. Fun. Like such a simple concept, and like you got to play. It's a free to play game.
It's free.
Yeah. I'll bring my Switch.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You need a Switch? I'm already out.
Well, or any.
I'm pretty sure if I brought like a Nintendo Switch home, my wife would be like, cool, I'm leaving.
Yeah. No, I'll bring mine.
It's funny. I worked for Sony PlayStation for a long time, like for a year I wrote music for the video game Knack, which apparently he is a meme. That's fun. I didn't know that. But I wrote music for Knack and Knack 2. And like part of like the job description when you work for PlayStation is, especially in like the creative part of it. So like, even if it's music creation, is you have to play like 4 hours of video play a day. And I fucking hated it. I was like, I suck at video games. I was a smoker at the time, and I wasn't allowed to smoke in my booth. So I had to like not smoke for 4 hours.
Get a PSP.
What?
You should have had like a Vita or something. You could go play while you're on your smoke.
This was like this was, I guess, maybe 4 years. When did the PlayStation, the newest PlayStation come out? Came out this year, right?
Yeah.
So we were beta testing all of those with it. So it was like literally like we would get a new PS5 put in the booth or in our pod that like every other day. And they'd be like, you have to rate also the gameplay on this. And I was like, I don't
I would have run
I was
a
like, I
really long HDMI cable and set up outside.
Yeah. But you know how long the HDMI cable would have to be.
Yeah, HDMI over Ethernet. You ever heard of it?
Oh man, this fucking nerd. What was cool about working there though was like I'd never worked for a company that had like I've only ever worked for myself, or worked like shitty jobs. Like I worked for like Apple, but
Me
like
too.
work. Oh man, I was FRS dog. It was the worst.
I did
Pine
Mac
Raccoon
support.
Oh man, I was the FRS family room specialist. Is the if
FRS is flying raccoon suit.
If
I'm
it's
sorry.
it is flying raccoon suit. Word up.
That too.
But they're like the first line of like, oh, do you want to yell at someone in the Apple store? Allow me to introduce you to an FRS. I don't think that they have that position anymore, but it was great because it's impossible to piss me off unless like you get there and then I'm fucking livid. But like in the context of Apple, I was like, this isn't my company. These aren't my products. I'm just wearing a shirt. I don't give a shit about you or this. Yeah. So like, but when I was working for Sony with PlayStation, like my computer went down for like straight up crashed. And I was like, fuck yeah, I got a day off. This rules. Like sat back in my chair and thought about all the cigarettes I was going to smoke in 5 minutes. And no shit. Some dude from tech was like, got an alert that you need a new computer, came in with a brand new trash can. So they have like this like 4-time redundant system that's constantly backing up your computers 4 times.
Wow.
And I just thought about how many times I like wrote like, fuck you in an email to my boss and erased it. That like definitely exists somewhere. Some dude at tech is just gonna like forward be like, hey, person whose name I'm definitely not going to say, Jay Graves says fuck you all the time.
All of the time.
Every mix note I ever received back, I always start like every email I always wrote fuck you and then erased it and then was like definitely on it.
I've gotten a lot of those definitely on it emails, so now I know how they start.
Yeah. Man, John, you've had some crazy jobs. Like how did you get into I guess getting like into the audio engineering? I know you said John from Jeff Rosenstock got you in, but like did you have any experience previous to that?
Well, I was in a ska punk band in New York.
The Homecoming Queens.
God damn.
Look it up.
We have one good record. I will say A Sound You Once Knew is a pretty good record. The rest of that shit is garbage. It's not on Spotify. You're welcome,
I was
Chris.
looking for it.
I was like, wipe the internet of that shit. It's still on
YouTube.
Bandcamp. It's on
YouTube,
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, you can find it.
Give us $1. You can have it. So I was in that band and we actually toured a lot. We played a lot on the East Coast and like did lots and lots of shows. We started recording a record with this guy, Chris Davies, who is a recording engineer back in the East Coast. He does like Brass Against and like Tom Morello, and he's badass. He's great. And I was like, this is interesting. I was like, recording is cooler. I think cooler than being in a band for me, not for most people. Hello, person behind you. Who's that?
That's my brother-in-law's girlfriend. She looked really scared.
Yeah. What up, brother-in-law's girlfriend? You look
That's
scared.
Elon. Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that your dog matches your ska floor?
I didn't even recognize that was a dog.
Oh yeah.
That dog wants to pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Yeah. Oh, he's putting it down. He's just laying down.
Yeah, that's Champa.
Champa.
Love Champa.
Que paso, amigo? You're awesome. I love that dog. This one goes out to Champa. This whole podcast is dedicated to Champa.
Pulled out a capo. What are you gonna do?
I don't know.
Midwest sparkly emo.
I got one with D-Man. We're
It's just like it's like a thing to do.
Shoot, I don't have a capo. What have I got?
Anyway, to get into recording bullshit, I was in a band. I thought it was like ridiculous what people were charging to record stuff, and I was like, I'll just record myself. And then I was like, they were very cheap. And then
$600,000 of gear later.
Yeah, fuck me. Then I did a record. I opened a studio in Long Island and recorded lots of I recorded like Patent Pending and like all of those sort of like Long Island bands and East Coast bands. I did some stuff with a couple other bands too, like Giants at Large and like Bellwether, although I think those guys are trash. Sorry. Just don't be a jerk. Not all of them, just really one guy is trash. The rest of them are pretty okay. I started doing live sound, and that's actually how I started meeting more bands. I started mixing bands live, and I was working. I was like, this is cool. but I really still like making records. This is better. I moved out to California because I initially moved out here so I could do pop records, and then I did like 2 of those and was like, I'm good. I'll go back to making DIY punk records.
Sorry.
And then eventually I got hired by, so I did a record for MXPX. Mike is like fucking lovely,
The sweetest.
best dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, that band and like Mike's mom still runs their merch arsenal, which is fucking hilarious. Like if you order merch from them, she will occasionally leave you a note like, thanks from Michelle. And
She seals them all with a kiss. It's
she
very
really
sweet.
does.
Yeah,
When she found out that I was having a baby, she sent us a bunch of baby stuff and a bunch of stuff. She's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then so I did a record with them, and I started front of housing for Goldfinger. And then when the pandemic happened, John Feldman was like, I want to make a record. So Reed and I co-produced the newest Goldfinger record, Infinite, with John Feldman. And like we wrote on it, we played guitars on it. I think I played bass on some of it, although Mike, I think we played all the bass because he's a better bass player. But yeah, Reed and I played all the guitars, and I played all the keys on the record. And Reed, I think, sang all the harmonies or most of them. I don't know, a bunch of them. Also, like once we were like, that record kind of happened in like 2 ways. It was like in like 2 halves. There was like the half that Reed and I were super hands-on for. And then like once we were done doing our thing with it, we handed it off to Feldman, and then he did his thing with it with like all of those dudes. And like when we finally like heard it, like when I passed off that record to Feldman, I didn't hear a song from that for another like 3 months. And then it was like, cool, we're releasing this in a week. And I'm like, oh, sick. And then with NOFX, how I got on that was Chris. Chris does all the music videos for NOFX and also runs their Twitch stream, or not Patreon stream.
Yeah. We got them streaming for the pandemic. And when we were setting that up, they were like, oh, we need somebody to like run sound for the stream, but also kind of record stuff. And I was like, John, this is kind of beneath you, but you should come hang. And immediately you and Mike just hit it off. Yeah. And he was like, you want to produce the record? Yeah.
Mike in his driveway on like an hour of sleep, like with like morning breath, with like gross hair and a dirty pink hoodie, was like, you want to produce the new NOFX record? And I was like, yes, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, like I had recorded with Bad Cop a bunch for We Are the Union. Stacy did a guest on on Self Care, the last We Are the Union record before Ordinary Life. And her and I super hit it off, and we were talking about maybe me producing the new Bad Cop record, and just like scheduling didn't work out. And she was like trying to get me to meet Mike. And there was like, we were just kind of like missing each other.
There was like a few other times I almost got you in with Mike. Like it kept coming up, like close and then close and then close. And then, we finally worked it out on this one. And
I mean, honestly, I'm lucky that Bill or Jason doesn't live closer. That's really it.
Fair.
And if they like lived closer, they would probably just be doing the stream, and then I wouldn't have worked with Mike and stuff. But
I feel like running sound for those streams is pretty beneath them.
Yeah, maybe
they'd send an assistant though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they would, I do love those.
Chris, how did you get to start working with NOFX?
It started officially. I was playing in a band. I was playing bass in a band called Pizza Wolf. And we would play the Redwood Bar all the time, which was where Jen Razovy was working. So we would play with like the
Gen
Bomb Pops. Yeah, Gen Pop. We would play with the Bomb Pops, and she had a little side project gig at that time with Neil. I don't remember the name of, but my various bands there. And they wanted to do music videos. And so Harry Jerkface connected us.
I've done so many shows for that guy.
Yeah.
We've never met in person. He's been the promoter at no joke, like 20 shows I've done, has never shown up.
Harry rules. Harry is one of my favorite. He's the chillest guy. He's in Arizona now. What's up, Harry? I miss you. Let's hang out. But yeah, so Harry connected me with Jen. And then I started making I made a couple videos for them that they used to pitch to Fat. And then their next record was on Fat, and lo and behold, they like didn't lose my number or like be shitty to me once they got stuff. And
it's because you make good stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of other people lost my number. Let's be real. Yeah. But yeah, so I kept making the videos for Fat, and then one day it was actually Jen was helping assist Mike with stuff for his musical, and he was trying to make like a self-shot music video for his musical. I think it's out now. It's the one with Darla and his daughter walking around.
She's like walking around downtown.
Yeah, she walking around downtown, and he needed like a couple background people or something. And so Jen called me, and I went out and did it. And I kind of like advised like, oh, hey, you know, if you held it like this, or if you did like, I gave him like little notes to help, but he like clearly had his own thing going. Mm-hmm. And it like didn't totally work out. There's some issues. So the next video he wanted to do, Jen was like, just have that Chris guy come up and do it. And so then I made the 3 Against Me video, which you'd have to be like a Home Street Home fan.
Chris wears a MAGA hat.
I do. I have to wear a MAGA hat in that video.
He was an actor.
Yeah, as an actor. Not just because I was directing. I was like supporting my president. wasn't like that. No. It's if you look it up, we did it like a Brady Bunch sort of style thing, and told this whole story of the one of the characters in the play, his like traumatic backstory with his parents, like when he came out and stuff like that. And I play like one of his brothers that's shitty to him. And so, but yeah, but
Johnny.
So
no, Johnny plays a neighbor.
No, Johnny plays a neighbor. Baz plays the other brother. Yeah. But yeah, so we found this like interesting way to like tell all of this backstory on this character in a little 3x3 like Brady Bunch thing. And Mike liked it so much that he was just like, all right, you're the video guy for everything now. And
you did that before you did 6 Years on Dope?
I did not do 6 Years on Dope.
That looks like you did it.
Nope.
Who did that?
It wasn't me. That was years ago.
Really? It looks like a video you would do. Well, I guess not.
Yeah, maybe.
It's because it's a follow shot. That's really why I think it is. It's
yeah, probably. I probably would have had there be a little more story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just Mike and Melvin yelling at a camera.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, so then I did all the stuff for the latest record, except for that animation that just came out. That's incredible.
Have you seen there's a new for Big Drag. They put out a video. These like where are they from?
Ukrainian
animators made the most incredible music video, like animation music video I've ever seen.
Yeah, they blew all my shit out of the water, and it was super embarrassing. Cool. So thanks for that. No, they did great.
It's
really good.
Also, like everyone kind of involved in the NoFX crew appears as like some form of cartoon.
Yeah.
And the cartoon version of Kent, I just want to get tattooed on my belly.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just also, I'm just like, wow, they fucking nailed it.
They really did. That video is
the one with Tony, like where Tony Sly is. You're like, wow, this gets real sad real quick.
I wish I made it, but also I'm really happy I didn't have to make it. You know?
Yeah.
It looked like a lot of work.
Also, are you an animator too?
No.
I was gonna say something I don't know about you. That's weird.
I mean, I did animate like a couple lyric videos. I did the I've done a few of them. I'm not great at it. You shouldn't hire me for that. I will definitely charge you more money than it's worth because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I love the old quote, a price that means I don't want to do this, and people are like, yeah, it sounds great. And you're like,
yeah. Oh man, that's the worst.
Have you ran into that with just a band that you're just like not stoked to work with?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're not naming any.
I mean, honestly, not so much anymore. When I was just starting out, I mean, I was doing anything to make money. Like when I first started, I was like $100 a record. Let's go. Like,
yeah,
I needed to get like, the thing about being a producer, like the best thing you can do is just make records, like, and listen to records and like try to like glean some sort of perspective on how they get made and like, and what are the important things. And the only way to really do that is just to fucking do it. So like I did that band Cold Rex. I did before they changed their name to Cold Rex, they were a band called Eli Whitney and the Sound Machine. And they played
Big
ska
improvement.
punk.
Big improvement
playing
in the
ska
name.
punk. Their name was so fucking long. Their name was longer than their goddamn full length. I swear to God. And they like, you know, I did a full length record for them. I think 12 songs, and I did it like for like almost no money, like comparatively. At the time, I was like, this is a shitload of money. But like now, it's, you know, just to do it, because I'd never done a full length before. I'd done EPs and singles, but I'd never done a full length. And like, you know, like digging in with records and digging in with bands and on the production side, like anything you can do to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
But like I did, so like there was this girl, I'll say her name, I don't give a shit. There's Brooke Alardo. Her dad owned the strip club next to my studio in Brooklyn. She was like 14 and she wanted to do pop covers and film herself like doing pop covers. And I said, sure, I'll definitely record that. And I got like a video dude to come in and do. This is back in New York, yeah, in Brooklyn, like I said. And like,
you're just trying to let me know you weren't cheating on me.
I wasn't cheating on you.
Okay.
And then he, yeah, like I quoted a ridiculous price at the time. Like I was like, yeah, $2,000 a song. Which for like literally recording a vocal over a karaoke track and like shooting like a two camera. And he was like, great, I'll pay you in cash. And I was like, sick.
That rules.
She wants to do 5 songs.
Was it all like, ones? Were they sweaty?
Dude, it was horrifying. Well, he would like he shot the videos and then we sent them to him and he was like, is there a way we could get her to like look, you know, a little sexier? And I was like,
your 14-year-old daughter? Yes, we can do that.
So no. Yeah. I mean, yes, but it's illegal.
Hold tight.
Yeah, let me just replace her with another person who's of age. It was very strange. Like that was a total weird gig.
Oh man.
And like, but now like I'm really lucky because I ended up working with bands that like I love, that other people also love.
Yeah.
So like when you sort of hit like that kind of echelon of band, you're not really kind of like sifting through like the like vanity projects or the just to do it projects. You're generally just working on things that you want to, because those bands require, like NOFX requires a lot of attention. Like not only am I producing the record, but I'm also playing in the band for shows sometimes. I'm also like, I'm super involved with the project as a band, that like the free time that I do have that doesn't go to like my daughter and my wife, like I have to be really choosy about the projects that I want to do. And I have to either like really like the project or like really want to do it.
Well, and also like nowadays working with bands really in any capacity is like, you can't just do one thing. I mean, like you said, you're like playing in the band and producing and like, you know, doing all kinds of stuff. But like, you know, I find that like I'm not just making bands videos, like I'm like helping them figure out release plans, like helping them figure out their ancillary content, talking about like messaging, talking about like
the interstitials of record production and on a fuller scale on release stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like, fuck, like We Are the Union, like you and I read.
Yeah. Brent. You were like in all of the conversations about like how we were going to put it out, how we were going to.
Yeah. Like Ordinary Life was like one of the most like, I don't know, like succinct releases. And it was everyone from Chris doing the film, me being the producer, Reed telling her story, and Brent doing doing
a lot of
stuff, and then like Ray, who's doing all like the
photos,
the still photography and visual aesthetic stuff. And fucking Mike Szynski from Bad Time, who like just fucking like that dude just like believed in that project from the jump. Like they were like, hey, like this is like Reed was really, really particular about who was going to know about the record and the content of that record. For anyone who doesn't know, and if you don't know, it's the story. The Ordinary Life is about Reed coming out as a trans woman, and like her story, and it's amazing. But it was crazy important that Reed like did it on her terms. So like really, when we were making that record, the record label did not hear any of the songs until we had mixed it and it was ready to go to them. They just trusted. They didn't hear, like Mike Szynski didn't ask for demos. He just was like, we didn't even tell. I don't know if we even told Mike the concept of the record. We just said we're making a record,
and he was like, "Cool,
yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I'll put it out."
And that's so badass. That record is amazing. Like
it's incredible.
Just first and foremost, it's like a super important record too that I think is gonna just live on forever. Like it sounds great. I heard Cat Bite talking about Mike kind of in the same sense that you were talking about him, just like having just their back basically the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, aside from like being in like Kill Lincoln is like one of the most fun bands that We Are the Union gets to play with. Like, aside from that, but like just being someone who believes in like kind of what we're doing and like has the patience and like a little bit of the capital behind it to make sure something happens. Like, as just like someone who just supports what, like, also Catbite, that new Catbite record fucking rules. It's so good.
Yeah. I got a video on that one too.
You do.
I do.
You're the lead single.
The lead single, Little Kid with a Bat.
She just released a cover of that today.
Yeah. I saw that
on Brooklyn Vegan. If anyone wants to go there and check it out.
That was awesome. But like, I mean, I think kind of like what we're getting at.
Dipped.
Yeah. No, that definitely got lower. You should bring that back up. Ready? Squeaky. There we go. But yeah, like, so that's why it's difficult to work with bands if you don't believe them, unless the money is like ludicrously good, because you're not just like, it'd be one thing if it was like, oh, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to play the songs real quick. And you're just going to hit 3 and then you mash it together real quick. Or for me, if it was like, here's the video we do, can you just come hold the camera real quick? Like that'd be something, but we don't have time because all the projects that we're working on, like we want to carry through and make sure they do what they're supposed to do.
Well, I think like Jacob, you sent me a question about like that had to do with quarantine stuff. And like, what I think is so like, not that like COVID is a good vibe. It's been shitty, but no one pressed record during COVID and didn't mean it. You know what I mean? There isn't a record that got made during COVID that wasn't good. Like, in my, from what I've heard, shut up, man. I know you don't like Goldfinger, but still.
No. That's not what I was talking about.
My wife just sent me a video of a pie.
A video of a pie? What happens in the pie?
I don't know.
Why is that not a photo?
I think she tried to take a photo. It's definitely she tried to take a photo.
She tried to take a photo.
I think she made a pie.
Wait, is that pie coming here?
That pie could come here.
It looks like apple.
It might be an apple pie. You want to see it? Here it is.
I'm pretty jealous, to be honest.
Wait, it's gonna be super.
It's cool. It's accompanied by like, you know, an infant who's like, "Fuck, I'm so small." But no, like, you know, so like the way we made the We Are the Union record, Chris and I, this is crazy. Like, you were even there for the production. Like, he was doing, you know, we went to Joshua Tree.
Yeah, got a house out there
for like 2.5 weeks, and we're just locked in. Just the band, Chris, and my wife Christine came with us too. Executive producer Christine Mahoney, Deb. She was very pregnant, and there was no way I was leaving her in LA by herself.
Very smart.
But like, we locked in for 2 weeks. So we're just making the record with just ourselves. And then with like Catbite, they came out here and recorded with Davey. I think they like locked in with him for like a week and a half.
I shot the performance part of their video. They called me and they're like, we're going to do this song single. I said, okay. They called me the next day and said, never mind, we're changing this song. I said, okay. And then the day they were supposed to come, they're like, no, it's actually going to be this song. I said, okay. And then they showed up with a different song. And because they were literally in the studio the whole time. They came over at like, they finished for the day at like 8:00. They got over to the other studio by 9. And I just started shooting. And then I actually made that video, I want to say 7 or 8 months later.
I love the best part of that video is Brent.
Oh yeah.
Brent,
just
Brent Friedman's performance.
Shake down.
I would love to shake that guy down for $100 bills.
I mean, I think we kind of, that's kind of
also he had like a handful of cash, and I was like, can I have some?
It was my money.
It was
my money.
Yeah. That video was awesome. A lot of cameos.
Yes.
A lot of ska cameos.
Yeah, that's because Catbite, like I said, I shot their thing when they were making their record, and then they took off and I forgot about it. And then when it was, and then Tim hits me up and goes, that video's supposed to come out in like 3 weeks. And I was like, oh fuck. And so I just called in all the papers.
Was it?
That was Brandon's kid, Rowan. Brandon from the band Maxwell Smart, which was a ska band in the LA area. I don't know if you ever would have heard him, but it was his kid.
Nice.
Yeah, he's the guy that gets beat up in the opening of the movie.
When Daddy is old enough, can we put her in a music video?
Dottie's old enough to be in a music video right now.
Sick.
Yeah, I mean,
my daughter's 4 months old.
At this moment, she's kind of like a prop, you know?
She's a prop who shits and cries.
Yeah, you can't ask her to do much, but
I asked her to sleep last night. She didn't fucking do that one bit. But she did sleep on my chest this morning, which is like it's a nice trade-off.
Kind of cute. Yeah.
Except if you fall asleep while a baby's sleeping on you and you move, that baby can die. So then you're just terrified that you're gonna kill the baby. So you just sit there while British Bake Off show is on TV next to you, and you're like, this is fine. I won't sleep ever again.
That's why there's a pie. You were watching the Bake Off.
Yeah, Kristen. We actually I did leave during the pie episode.
Together.
Perfect. It all makes sense now.
Synchronicity. Synchronicity.
Saint Christine.
Saint Christine.
Saint Christine.
Jesus.
John, would you ever start another band, like a new band? Now that you're recording and all that stuff.
He's in NOFX. What else is he gonna do?
Yeah, true.
I mean, it is very difficult to like, I'm really lucky that the band that I'm in like did all of the hard work before I 30 years before I got in. And now I just like our show in Denver, like I literally just like walked on stage. It was like, great, everything's here. Thanks, everybody. Oh, you all know the words already. This is great. Me too. This is great. I honestly, what it is like the being in a band is a giant fucking pain in the ass. And it's like, it's a job. And if you can't commit yourself to being in a band the same way people commit themselves to being like a lawyer, I don't think you should be in a band. Chris and I feel differently about this, but
I will say this. Don't waste anybody else's time if you don't feel that way. But if you want to be in a band and your only goal is to like play a couple songs at your local bar or whatever in front of your friends, that's great. Just don't ever do a show where you have to have ticket sales. Yeah. Play at your friends' houses and backyards more than anything else. Like hang out, have a good time. Don't bother anybody that's doing it. Don't start calling bands that are too big and asking for opening slots. Like that's dumb. Just have a good time.
Yeah. Well, there's that. And like, but for a band to be successful and for it to be, it's such a time commitment and such like so much money needs to be sunk into it.
Yeah.
That if you're not serious about it, you'll just end up with a bad taste in your mouth, or if you don't have the time for it. You know? And that's what it comes down to is like, so I was in a band with Reed,
American
Splendor, that like there was a hot second where we were going to like go for it and be a band. And then I was like, this isn't fun. Like it's a lot of hard work, and a lot. Like I talked to Chris from Knockdown about this. I'm producing a record for Knockdown. They're like a punk band from from Stockton, California. They're great, and Chris like loves the grind. He's fucking about it. He loves sleeping in bands. He's like, I'll sleep on the floor. I'll play fucking anywhere. And I'm like, I don't have the capacity or the thirst to do that anymore. Like maybe also because I'm older, but also like. I did that shit from when I was like 16 until I was 27. And I had some of the best nights of my life sleeping on floors in like fucking Silver Spring, Maryland and shit. But also like now, like it was super dope that when I got to Denver, there was a tour manager who literally handed me a room key and was like, I'll see you at set time.
Yeah. That was pretty rad.
Or like when I'm with I tour manage Skeggs and I do sound for them, this band on my shirt. They're from Australia. When they're in the States, I tour manage them and do sound for them. And it's great that like, we have a van that works, that the air conditioning works. And then at night we sleep in a hotel.
It's not your job to fix it.
Yeah.
You're literally just there. Like if anything goes wrong, it's just, wow, I sure hope you guys work it out.
Yeah. And like, that's not to say like there's no pitching in and teamwork. I mean, like Chris will do video stuff for NOFX Live. And then if I'm playing keys, because I also mix monitors for NOFX Live now as well. If I'm playing keys, Chris will then jump in and mix monitors and make sure everything's cool.
Right. Yeah. I guess I just mean like, as far as like, we can worry about the stuff that like makes it go, but like, if it's not going to happen, that's not our responsibility.
Yeah. Like the show itself, like how many times you roll up to like fucking bowling alley and you're like, cool, there's no PA. Someone booked a show without a PA. Sick. Who do we know that has a PA? Like that'll never, I never want to be in that position again.
Yeah.
Or like you go to play a bar and you need 16 inputs for your band to make sense. And they're like, cool, there's 2 microphones and you have to use the house kit, and the house kit's made of like fucking balsa wood and like shotgun shells. You know, like every time you hit the snare drum, you get shot in the leg. Like I'm not, you know, but that also, it sounds like I'm shit talking being in a band, and I'm not, because it really is like,
I love it.
There's nothing better than getting on a stage and having those songs that you write being shouted back at your face. Like that shit is incredible.
Yeah.
And like, there's no better feeling than seeing the work that you put in for years and years be, you know, magnified.
But you also have to want to do that. You have to like specific parts of the music business. Like you obviously love the music business because you've made it your business.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lane.
Yeah.
And like, but when you're the artist, it's all of it's your lane.
Yeah.
You have to care about all of it, and you have to really like that. And I like it enough to still want to do that. And there's enough of it that you don't, that it's not worth you doing.
Well, I also like, it's just we're also have different priorities, I think. Also, because I have a kid and and I have a wife, and Chris just has a condo, maybe. And like, but you know, even I look at band, like, you know, like the guys in NOFX, you know, they all have kids, and like, you know, or like John Feldman. John's got kids and he's been on tour and he's missed a lot of their life. You know, before I had a kid, you know, me and Mike Herrera sat down and like had like a fucking heart to heart about like what it meant to have kids and do what we do. And, you know, Mike Herrera's got, you know, he's like, every second that I can spend with my kids, I do. But they also understand, and my wife understands that like the band is the band keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
You know, and
I'm just trying to abandon my non-existent kids all day. Like that's, I'm trying to be anywhere. But
there is a singer of a very famous band who remained fucking anonymous for the purposes of the story, who literally told me yesterday, just like, oh, you don't have to be a good dad until they're like 2. You can just be shit until like, you know, he's like, they don't give a fuck. Like they don't care. You don't care. Like, you don't have to care. He's like, you should sleep with earplugs in. And I was like, my wife would fucking castrate me. Are you kidding me? Could you imagine if I just slipped earplugs in while Christine like was tried to like go deal with the baby at night? She'd fucking stab me in the guts.
You'd be sleeping here at some point.
Yes. Interesting take.
Sometimes I take naps here.
It's true.
Sometimes you got to. Sometimes you got to get away.
Do you have kids?
I have a 13-year-old now.
You're like fucking 13. How old are you? Like, fuck. Would you have her them when you were like 10?
I'm 33.
We're the same age. How do you have a 13-year-old? You're crazy, man.
Yeah.
You're like just slinging fucking goo at 20. Didn't give a fuck.
I love that you asked, how'd you have a kid? And he just goes, my wife. And it's like,
well,
that's the most logical. Yeah. I mean,
honestly, so like
it takes 2.
When I like Christine and I, my wife and I have been married. We've been together for 13 years. We've been married for 9 years. And like, since we got married, like from jump, even when we were dating, when we first started dating, I said, hey, I'm going to move to California and I'm going to be a musician my entire life. And you have to be okay with that.
No babies.
I was like, no kids. I'm going to be a musician my whole life. I'm going to tour. I'm going to do my fucking thing. That's what I want to do. And if you don't want to do that, I totally get it. I wouldn't want to do it either if I wasn't me. Like, but this is the deal. And before we did it, she was like, yep, that's fine. And we were like, not gonna have kids. And then COVID happened. Well, actually, then Christine's best friend, my roommate from college, married Christine's roommate from college. And
it's like a weird kind of incest. I don't know what kind.
It's a little hot.
It's a
little hot. They had a baby, and we went down and helped them with their baby for like before COVID. And Christine came back with like just the hottest case of baby fever. And I'd left for tour pretty much immediately and came back like a month and a half later. And she like was like, I want a kid. And I was like, no.
But think about this. Just think about this. If we've been smart, like Jacob, like he's almost done.
Yeah. Like could you, like, you're 33. Could you imagine having to wake up at fucking 2:00 in the morning for feedings right now at 33?
Like before this man is 40 years old, that kid's legally not his problem.
True.
You can just be like, nah, get out.
Is it a boy or a girl?
So they are figuring that out. But it's my wife's kid. So my step kid. So I actually got to skip all of that part too. So I did.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Straight cheating. You're straight
Yeah.
up cheating.
Yeah.
You get to have a kid.
Yeah.
You got to skip like the hard little part, and then you're gonna be done.
Yeah,
You're gonna be 40. That's like a military
I
retirement.
should adopt.
That's like bullshit. Retired by 38. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been awesome. Also teaching them how to play bass too. So,
That's sick.
that's been
Oh.
pretty fun. Here in San Antonio, Emily from Tsunami Bomb.
Yeah.
Moved
She's the
here.
best. She's the
Yeah,
best.
she's
Yeah.
awesome. She was working at a girls rock camp.
Yeah, I heard about this actually.
Yeah, and so growing up, like we showed Dahlia Tsunami Bomb, and they really liked Lemonade, and so like when I found out Emily was a coach, one of my friends were also teaching, so I was like, please get Dahlia into Emily's like band group, and then they covered Lemonade, like
Hell
for it.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's
That's
tight.
awesome.
Emily, yeah, she's one of the sweetest human beings in the world. I did a record with like a bunch of songs with her and MXPX.
Yeah, Worry is the first one that comes to mind.
She rules, man. She's great.
Yeah.
She sang on. We did a bunch of acoustic tunes too that she sang on with Mike. She maybe sang on some Tumble Down stuff too. I don't know that for sure though. I don't know. Mike was too busy being a cowboy for a hot second with that shit.
It's true.
Phil Moon's take on Tumble Down is the funniest thing in the world. He like literally put on a cowboy hat and sent a picture to Mike Herrera while tipping a hat and just says howdy partner.
Damn. Hell yeah. I want to talk about some gear.
Yeah.
Mentioning Chris's bass.
Oh,
Chris, talk about your bass and then we'll talk about my bass.
Okay. So I play an Italia Marinello bass, which like nobody's ever seen. What happened was,
Imagine if Prince's like spine was turned into a bass guitar.
yeah, it's very sparkly. I mean, it kind of looks like
It
kind of looks like a Les Paul, like sort of a thing, like a
yeah.
you know, like it's got like that kind of body.
Oh, we have one. Hold on.
You have a Marinello?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Who was here the other day? One of the guys that was here the other day was like, "Oh, I play a Marinello bass," and I was like, "The fuck." The way it happened was like, I was playing this Yamaha bass I got in like 9th grade that was fine, but like I didn't really love it, and it wasn't really doing anything for me. Like it sounded okay. I just felt very blah about the whole thing, so I started bass shopping, but like every Guitar Center and Sam Ash and whatever all have like the same 3 basses. There's like a Stingray, there's a P bass and a J bass. Yeah. So this is basically what I play, except mine is red and sparkly.
Yeah, this one is a Mondial.
Yeah. Mine is also not the semi-hollow.
Can you hold the neck on this so I can put my
Yes.
headphones back on? We can make space.
But yeah, so I was bass shopping and I just couldn't find anything that I liked. And then the Guitar Center was like, "Oh, our return policy is super good. Buy anything online and you can return it in the store. You don't have to pay the shipping back." And I was like, okay. So I started abusing that policy. I was like, "Oh, what's that like viola bass sound like?" And I got it. And I was like, "Oh, terrible. It sounds like the worst thing I've ever heard. Return that."
I have one of those.
I hate them. I tried a couple basses. I didn't like anything. I bought that one. It looked so cute. I bought it as like a joke. I was like, "This is going to suck, but I've got to know." Cause it had all the things I was looking for.
Did you have, was it a Hofner or was it just like a knockoff?
Yeah, it was a Hofner.
Wow. And it
I
didn't
hated
play
it.
well?
I really hated it. But it was like the cheap Hofner. There's a good one and a bad one. I bought the bad one.
I have a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, the Marinello like checked all these boxes and I was like, it probably sucks. And I bought it and it came in and I just fell straight in love with it. And everybody that picks that thing up goes, "Oh, it's done." And then they start playing it and they're like, "Huh, I really love it."
Yeah,
and
I like that.
like the only thing it's not great
also
at,
sounds awesome.
it sounds awesome. It's a little bit weird recording for whatever reason. We always end up using like a P bass or something for recording. Like something about it's not quite dialed in right, but live it sounds incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's probably like a phase issue with those pickups because they're spaced really weird.
Yeah, there's definitely like a
Also,
weird phase issue.
They make a bass that has wooden capped pickups that are so fucking weird too. That company just really were like, let's go for it. Let's make
It's
some shit.
super weird.
I
But
think
love
Craig
it.
Shea from before he plays at JP, and a Lackland. I think he bought John Donominice's old Lackland, honestly. John was selling it. I wanted to buy it, but he was like, no, you have to pay me money. And I was like,
No.
But, Craig Shea played an Italia for like a long ass time.
Yeah. No, it's a great
Like
bass.
this cream blue. It was awful, but it was like the best.
They make them look so
They're
fun.
so fucking hideous.
Yeah, I love that. It's like that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way with the Dan Electro basses.
Yeah.
I see
So,
Fat Mike
there
play
you
it,
go,
and
yeah.
I'm just like,
Mike hit up Dan Electro and he's like, hey, I'm like the only person who plays your basses. Can I have one? And they said no and sent him a shirt.
damn, that's wild.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Fuck you. No, you can't. You're rich. Buy your own.
What bass?
They're like $250 a pop. Just buy one.
What's your main bass? Your go-to bass, John?
Me?
Yeah.
I play. There's two of them.
this guy.
I have a 3/4 P bass that I like a lot, but all of the We Are the Union stuff that I played bass on was actually this. So it like is a parts bass. Like, so it's like a 90s J body with that we like sanded all of the actual paint off of and just painted it with just satin black, like house paint. And
It
then
looks like it too.
yeah, it's so shitty. Like
I
you
love
can't
it.
tell on the stream, but this is garbage. It's an all parts neck, but like not the expensive one. Like it's like the $100 all parts neck that like it needs fretwork. But there's also like there's just something about it that like fucking rips. Like I play so well on it. It doesn't sound like a J bass. It like doesn't. It's like not chill. It like the pickups I think are probably too hot and probably too high. So it's about 5 dB hotter than most J basses would be. So like especially if you're going DI or if you're going into like something that has a nice preamp in the amp. Or like I use a Kemper almost exclusively at this point. Like it smacks the shit out of your input. Super clippy. But yeah, also most bass players hate it. Because it's also the neck is like it's so wide in like, and I also have small hands, but there's just something about it that I love. Also, I don't like again, like it fell off the wall the other day. And I was like, well, that thing costs $0. So like I like things that I don't have to give a shit about. Because I also like I have this collection of like other like way high end instruments that I'm just like I can't play this on the road. I can't play it like I have a custom shop Jazzmaster that like doesn't leave my studio or like leave Mike's house. It's like what's up?
I was gonna say, do you find yourself like recording with your high end gear, or do you still just go to whatever?
For bass stuff? I actually like I think the song Ordinary Life I played that bass on. And all of the singles last year, so like all of the We Are the Union singles that put out last year were actually just Reed and I and Brent. Because and Jer played horns. They were playing horns remotely. But everybody else was like Ricky was finishing school, and like
Brandon was recording ICP.
Brandon is currently Violent J's from ICP's.
I love it so much. Now and again,
which
he'll
sounds like a fake thing because
it's
like
real. It's real. He sends pictures from. I didn't even know about it for so long.
Fun story about Violent J from ICP. This motherfucker doesn't have a trash can in his house. He has a window, and outside the window is a huge dumpster, and you just throw shit out the window all day long. Like that's his vibe.
So good.
But yeah, it's like Brandon was very busy doing that shit, and Ricky was busy like trying to get an education. And so like we Reed, Chris, me, and Brent kind of took the initiative to just keep cranking out singles. So Fresh Fruit for Rotting Punk Rock Stars is, I think I played bass on that. It's that bass.
Did I gang vocal one of? I don't think I'm on any of the musically. I just did the videos. And
Your Way, Your Time. I played bass on that with that.
And
bass.
you were the banana.
I was the banana. And so was my wife.
So was Chris.
Because there was like a makeout scene, and I was like, the only other person that Chris knows it would be Chris's girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I don't think Christine would be cool with that. Cast, or you could have cast another dude as it. I would have loved it.
Would have been good.
Yeah, Christine was like, I'll be the banana if you need to make out with him. I was like, sick. Get to make out with my wife in a banana suit on film. It's hot.
All those people in the park just watching us, like, what is going
Yeah, we shot
on?
that shit in like the middle of the day on a summer day in like a very public park. And I think I explained there was a lady who was like, what do you guys do? And I'm like, we're a ska band. And she was like, oh, I didn't think that like existed anymore.
Man. it was fun.
Yeah, and that sounds awesome. What are y'all's plans for the rest of the year?
I am mixing a record for Knockdown
and for Loser.
I'm mixing a record for Loser for Chris's project. I started mixing the new NOFX record, but there's still more songs to record. I'm supposed to work with a few other bands that I can't. That maybe I. Oh, let me see. Let me just.
I think that's the hard thing about doing what we do is almost everything's a secret.
Yes.
Like,
just to say, I'm booked now until December.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also doing shows with NOFX, and we're going to the UK in September for a few days.
Chicago.
We're doing Riot Fest. We're doing
Boston, Pittsburgh,
and Pittsburgh, and there's other shows that aren't announced. So let's be careful.
Oh, we should stop. Yeah. Gosh,
those ones that you announced are fine, but I think there's a few other schedule that aren't.
Yikes! That's why I'm bad at my job.
But yeah, so we're both going to be with NOFX for the rest of the year. Chris is going to be doing video stuff. I'm going to be doing audio stuff.
We'll see. I'm not on all those shows yet.
I'm going to make sure Chris goes to the fucking UK with us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. And where can people listen to your project, like Chris, your project, or anything you worked on?
Yeah, chrisgraue.com. If you see the thing with my name spelling on it right there, it's a good place to find links, but it's on Spotify and YouTube. If you look for Loser, there's a U in it in a place that it's a surprise. You got to figure it out.
Because Chris's name's actually Lewis.
It is. Yeah. So it's like Loser.
That's a whole nother story.
Whole other story. It's a dumb pun.
And for me, I mean, right now you can check out on Spotify, We're the Union's record, Ordinary Life. You can check out
Record of the Year.
For sure.
Record of the Year.
You can check out Infinite by Goldfinger. You can check out all of Chris's singles that are there for Loser. So it's two.
We'll get there.
Well, there's current stuff. What stuff? MXPX has some stuff that's up there. Oh, hold on. I'm really bad at this. What else have I done? Brass Tracks have a record that they put out last year that rules. That called Golden Ticket. That's really good. Sammy K put out a 7-inch last year that I produced.
Gosh, that feels like forever ago.
I know, and it was only that shit was just November.
Jeez.
Well, last year Reed and I did. I think we did like 56 releases last year.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we weren't on tour, so we were like, fuck it. Like, who's got work? Like, I think like the day that they announced like shutdown, like Reed and I did like a video on Instagram where we're just like, yo, everything's fucked up. Let's just pretend it's not, and let's just keep working. Let's not close our studio. Like,
there was a wild year. You and I both were just.
I mean, the day like March 13th, we watched between Reed and I, we watched like $100,000 of work just fucking sail away. And I was like, cool. Like, cause we had the whole year was supposed to go out with Goldfinger, and a bunch of other bands. And like they were going to announce the tour with the Used, and that fucking didn't happen. And now it won't happen. Maybe, I don't know. It might, who the fuck knows? And like all this shit, we just watched it all leave, and we were like, fuck. And then like 5 days later, it was like, cool, just work every day until your baby shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you are with your little 4-year-old baby, or 4-month-old baby.
Dottie. Dorothy May.
Guys, I appreciate your time to talk to me, to hang out. It was fun hearing all the stories. Really enjoyed talking to you both. And Yeah, man. I'm stoked to keep hearing from Loser, to keep hearing your records, Jon. And just again, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, for sure, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Have a good day.
Bye.
Later.
Later.
OBS virtual cam. Oh, there it is. Okay, great.
Yeah, you have to
You
hit
can see
start,
this?
dick face.
Yeah. Okay, all right, hold tight. All right, then I do the what were you saying? What tab is it on? Is it on
If you just literally go get out of settings for a hot second,
okay.
right click the us right there. Yeah, right click that shit. And you should be able to rename.
Rename.
Jay Graves, Chris
Jay
Graue.
Graves.
This is quality content for every podcast listener.
Hell yeah. This would be bonus content.